Hello, this is actually Rob who's talking to you after he's recorded the Idoneth Deepkin video, but I put a little bit in before the video. I've edited it in because Games Workshop accidentally have leaked today some new Idoneth Deepkin models. So there will be some spoilers. So if you want to skip ahead and get to the other intro on this video, then go do that. Otherwise, I'm going to show you some new minis or some like blurry photos of some minis from the upcoming Deepkin range. So in their Gargant article, they posted out some pictures. And here you can see we've zoomed in to one of your new heroes. Looks like an Achillean hero riding a wave. You can see it at the back there, which is very exciting. Looks very cool. Super thematic. I think I've crunched that too much there. Very, very cool. Very fun. Like riding a wave, big old glaive that it's swinging around, but it gives you another foot hero as well. I guess some people would be quite excited to get like an eel hero maybe, but another foot hero, you know, you're playing Age of Sigmar, that's what you're going to get. You've also got a new manifestation. So you will be getting a manifestation set, which is super fun. So you have what seems to be, and looking at the base on the bottom of this, a giant manifestation that is this big, you know, Ghyran style wave, like a little bit of a Blastoise situation, huge wave, maybe like an incarnate level thing. And in the background, if you look, you can see another base with a bunch of, you know, tentacles or waves riding up into the air. So at least one of your pieces, and I expect Games Workshop maybe have realized they've posted this today. You might see better pictures in the next couple of days, but you can see this big eel thing popping out the ground and a giant piece here. And then finally, another foot character, but again on a quite large base, which is fun. Looks like it's going to be a wizard or a mage style character with a bunch of little anglerfish at the bottom. And then has got this fun little helmet. So I guess this is going to be more like Thrall, Namarti themed versus Achillean themed. So we've got an Achillean hero who's probably a foot combat hero. Then you're going to have your Namarti hero, and then you've got your manifestations coming soon, which is super exciting. I'm going to stop this now. I hope you liked me giving you a little bit of info before the look at the Ghyran stuff. Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Today, we're going to be looking at the exciting rules update for the Idoneth Deepkin. It's very excited. We're going to plumb the depths of exactly what these rules mean and exactly how they may affect you. Don't get too salty, though, if they're not rules that you like, because these are just additional rules that you can use in your Age of Sigmar games in the new season of Age of Sigmar, running from the summer of this year till the summer of next year. Let's go and look at the rules. So the first thing that you get are 2 new battle formations to add to the other 4 that are in your index. But it's absolutely worth noting that very soon, emerging from the depths will be the new battle tome for Idoneth Deepkin. So you're going to get a new battle tome. So it's important to remember that you're going to get the 4 from those plus these 2 in addition. We're hoping these 2 aren't from that anyway. So 2 new battle formations, pretty fun. The first one, the Deep Sea Stalkers, gives you the passive ability outflank the enemy. While a friendly Idoneth Deepkin unit is wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield edge, you can subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks that target that unit. If it's not been charged, or if it has not charged this turn, you can add 2 inches to the move characteristic of that unit. That's obviously very good because you've got some very fast and mobile units. You're going to be able to move along the edges of the board. You can kind of use those to anchor your army so that you can score a bunch of battle points, which is good. I almost said barnacle points. That would have been ridiculous. Anyway, so that's very cool and is nice. Shooting being less effective into them is also really positive as well. Battle tactics can oftentimes, there's stuff like onboard edges, terrain, and other stuff. This is just generally nice if you're trying to sneak stuff around the back of the board. And the plus 2 inches to move is also really good. If for no other reason, just 2 inches to your movement is also good as well. So these are all competing with the battle formation that gives your companion weapons plus 1 to hit. Achillean Beastmasters. So you're probably less likely to see either of these 2, but anyway, that's the first one. The second one, Aether Sea Predators, I think is going to get a lot of people excited. Okay. At the end of any turn, which does mean every turn, you can spend a command point. That's what that number 1 symbol up there means. You can pick, if any friendly or enemy units were destroyed this turn, you can pick an Achillean Alapex unit that's already been destroyed, except for a replacement unit identical to the target, wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield edge, more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Now, this is pretty good, especially in the current game, because right now we're seeing, especially in tournament play, lots of people taking 1 or 2 Alapexes. Now, The Alapexes are much better, obviously, because they're taken in the aforementioned Achillean Beastmasters, giving them +1 to hit. So is getting an Alapex back as good? I'm not really sure. But I do think this is fun. It'll really churn up the waters of the playstyle for Idoneth Deepkin if they're looking to play something slightly different or play in a slightly different way. But I think one of the reasons people like this, but also don't like this, is in order for this to be good, you need to have lost a model. And Alapex is easy enough to kill. Like, it's not like the toughest unit in the game, but still you don't want to be losing models if you don't need to. So this is good. I think these are both okay. I think ultimately, like, the sheer force, the tidal force of Achillean Beastmasters is going to be still what people pick for Deepkin. But with a new battle tome on the way, everything could be shaken up. So maybe that goes away in the battle tome. Hopefully not. And then maybe these become more relevant. So we'll have to see. Next up, you've gained access, unlocked, kind of found some like deep sea treasures. 3 new heroic traits. The first one, the Merciless Raider, can be done in any combat phase. If this unit is within 6 inches of a damaged enemy unit, this unit can move 6 inches. It can pass through the combat ranges of enemy units, but must end that move in combat with a damaged enemy unit. An important thing to bring up here is when these abilities activate. The combat phase is broken down into abilities used by the active player, then the non-active player, and then you start doing fight abilities. So strike first, strike medium, and strike last. Why this is important, it means after charges, but while abilities are being done, there's the chance that you can be within 6 inches of a unit and you can basically make this move and then enter into the combat step, even though you'd never entered it via charging. Also, this gives you options in your opponent's turn for things like a redeploy and then this ability, and you're still going to be in combat, which is pretty wild. Like, that's very, very fun. And you will have missed, this is also really important, you would have potentially missed your opponent doing things like rampages. For example, imagine charging in with 1 unit and then staying outside of 6 inches to that damaged unit and then making a pile-in move. There's also other things you can do when you're being active in the role. For instance, when you charge, you do a big charge and now you've got an additional 6 inches of movement before you activate a pile-in, which is going to be 9 inches. So now you're going to be somewhere else. It's kind of like a pseudo-massive move. Obviously, the stipulation you need to be near a damaged unit, I think, is them really trying to understand that you could do a lot with this. So while on paper it kind of reads underwhelming, yeah, there's a lot here. It's very deep. Okay, so very fun, Merciless Raider. The next one, the passive, the Lord of Storm and Sea. The effect is that each time an ability returns at least 1 slain model to a friendly unit holding within 12 inches of this unit, after that ability has been resolved, you can return 1 additional slain model. Now, this is something that was actually so good and took like Flesh Eater Corpse from like a 40-something% win rate to like a 60% win rate in a battle scroll update at Christmas. So if this is done wrong, being able to return an additional model every time you return a model, right? Then you can really start to stack it up. Now, this isn't the same as that, and it's not anywhere near as effective because the whole Idoneth Deepkin book isn't predicated around bringing models back like you saw with Flesh Eater Corpse. But you are going to get to do some fun stuff. Like, you can have a bunch of Reavers, especially when they're going to be teleporting around the board, bringing a bunch back. That's quite fun as well. You could spike a good roll on some eels and then bring additional eel back, which is nice as well. So we love that. So it's okay, but again, stuff has to die for it to be useful, but stuff does die in the game. The last one, the Endless Sea Storm, is once per battle in any hero phase. If this unit is a wizard, you can add 1 to its power level for the rest of the turn. If this unit is not a wizard, it gains wizard 1. In addition, add 2 to the next casting roll or banishment roll for this unit, for a unit this turn. Now, a lot of people feel like this is bait, trying to like hook you in, but actually +2 to cast once per battle could be okay, especially if there's a clutch important roll that you're trying to make happen. Outpositioning your opponent, putting yourself in a better position that your opponent wasn't expecting, and just like brute force forcing through a casting roll to really change the shape of the game. Ultimately, Age of Sigmar is a game that you win via scoring points, not really engaging in combat. So being able to even deny their points via casting is also another great chance as well, because they're scoring your points, that's important, but denying points. So all 3 of these are fairly deep and they're not that shallow, but you've got also some great utility that you could do. Are these as blunt force trauma as some of the other artifacts or traits, sorry, then maybe not. But I still think they're pretty good. And like you've got a lot of play here, which is good for like such a limited roster that is the Deepkin book. Next up, you get 2 new war scrolls for different units. These are alternative war scrolls that you're able to use either in conjunction with or instead of the war scrolls that you'll find in the index or that you'll find in your upcoming battle tome. The first one is for the Orkelian Thrallmaster. It costs 100 points. It's got 5 health, a 5-up save, and moves 6 inches. It's got 6 attacks, damage 2. So he's a frontline. Important to remember, he's like a frontline, I guess, combat support character. And then he's got a passive, Way of the Vortex, where you subtract 1 from the Rend characteristic of weapons used by attacks that target this unit. And for any Namarti units, where they're wholly within 12 inches of his unit. Now, this sounds super fun if Namarti didn't have a 5-up save. That is disappointing because I don't really care about that. It does mean I could all-out defense and then -1 to my Rend, but then that's only going to give me a 4-up save. I don't know why Namartis don't just have a 4-up save anyway. Shout it with me, Idoneth Deepkin fans. I'm on your side. I believe in you, and I think you should have a 4-up save on your units. I'm calling it right now. Next up, you've got the Raider Captain ability, which is once per battle in the deployment phase. Pick this unit and up to 3 friendly Namarti Thrall units wholly within 12 inches. This unit be the target. Each target can make a normal move ability as if it were your movement phase. Now, this is actually a pretty good ability. The Thralls move 6 inches, and then it costs 100 points for 10. So you've got 3 pseudo units that you could use as screens, move up the board, use them to grab objectives, do battle tactics, tag stuff. Can you really afford 300 points for the 3 units of Thralls and also 100 points of this out of your list, really just to take board space and control it? You'll have to tell me in the comments below. For me, that's not quite enough. And obviously, because Deepkin can be so fast, they can be so mobile, I'm not sure if it's something you even need to have. Normally, people would like a screening unit, and especially a screening unit which zones out deep striking units. I do have a video about this if you want to check it out. Are more effective, obviously, if you're trying to build or establish a castle-like situation. Like if you're running Croak or a bunch of shooting in the mid. And maybe you take this and a bunch of Reavers behind them, move up, create a zone, and just shoot over the top. That's interesting. Screening's become much worse since the introduction of the power through command ability, because obviously now you're able to just basically bypass screens. So maybe we'll see that looked at in the GHB. The other unit are Namarti Thralls, which is a unit of 10 combat elves with 1 health each and a 5-up save. They move 6 inches. And they've got 2 attacks each, which are 3s and 4s, Rend 1, damage 1, with anti-infantry +1 Rend and anti-monster +1 Rend. Now, if, regardless of anything else, that's just as a crap combat profile. Now, they are a cheap unit. So a unit of 20 is going to give you 41 attacks, because you can obviously reinforce it. But you're hitting on 3s, you're wounding on 4s. You've only got Rend 1, and then your damage 1. Although you would be Rend 2 into infantry or Rend 2 into monsters. I don't think that's really attractive enough a profile for me to work really hard on a unit that can get lifted because of its terrible 5-up save. However, you do have a thing that helps you with the weakness of this unit, which is its survivability, in the hit and run tactics ability in any combat phase, which means every combat phase. If this unit is in combat or charge this turn, you can pick this unit to make a piling move. Then if this unit is in combat, you must pick one of the units to be the target of this unit's attacks. So it's exactly as the combat profile is written, because you can see it's a core fight ability. So you do this instead of the other core fight ability, which is the fight ability. Confusing, I know, but here we are. It's another core fight ability, but not the fight ability. Anyway, you resolve combat attacks against the target's unit. Then if this unit is in combat, you can roll a dice on a 3-up. This unit can move a distance up to its move characteristic and can pass through the combat range of enemy units, but can only end that move in combat with units it was in combat with at the start of that move. It does not have to end that move in combat. This is pretty fun, because basically I can charge in, fight. As long as I roll a 3-up, I can move away. Now that's obviously going to really benefit me in my ability to make sure that my opponent can't hit me back, which is really going to help with my survivability. It's also not once per turn army. So I do have multiple opportunities to roll this and then be able to move out the way. However, it is a 3-up, so a third of the time it's not going to work, and then I'm going to get slapped. Is that a strong enough ability to make me really want to put Thralls on the board when everything else in the book is absolutely incredible? The eels are good, the turtle is good, the alapexes have got better and better, and then the eidolons are really solid. And my answer is probably no, but it does at least fire up the imagination of running a bunch of Thralls and Reavers on the board, and you'll have to let me know in the comments below if you think that that's solid. However, that's it for the Idoneth Deepkin review. I think that was a thorough, deep dive, you could say. I think we got to the very sea bottom of what we thought about that update. Yeah, let me know what you think of these updates. They've been coming thick and fast. I don't know if people are getting fatigued with these. Less and less people seem to be watching them, which I think is kind of interesting. Or maybe the people just waiting for the army and the thing that they want. You'll have to let me know. Either way, I'm going to make sure I cover every single one, as well as making a bunch of normal content. So let me know what you think. And thanks for watching. And please do subscribe. I think I'm nearly at 30,000 subscribers. It'd be cool to get to 30,000. So that'd be fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.